Students, Sairam, this is Megha Miss here, and today we will continue with the lesson number 5, that is heat of science A. Last presentation you studied different topics under this lesson. First one was the definition for heat, its units you saw. Then we saw the difference between the heat and temperature. Next concept you studied two new concepts, specific latent heat of fusion and specific latent heat of vaporization. In that, during that experiment, we also studied about the boiling point and melting point. And the last topic where we stopped, that was anomalous behavior of the water. Now what was that anomalous behavior of the water? The anomalous behavior of water, what it tells, that all the liquids, normally what happens is when we heat it, they start expanding, and and when we cool it, they get contract. But water is showing an exception behavior. What is that exception behavior of water? That between 0 to 4 degrees Celsius it is contracting instead of expanding, and hence, and after 4 degrees Celsius again it will start expanding. So this behavior of the water, we called it as the anomalous behavior of the water. And as I told you in the last presentation, this anomalous behavior of the water we are going to study with the help of the Hope's apparatus. So today's topic we are starting with the study of anomalous behavior of water using the Hope's apparatus. Okay, now first we'll see this diagram. Okay, now here we have a basic construction for this Hope's apparatus. Now in between you can see a cylinder is there. Now that cylinder is filled with the water, okay, at water at the normal temperature. Then in between you can see that dark blue color, you can see, call it as a bowl, or you can say it as a trough. It consists of the freezing mixture. You can see there freezing mixture is written, okay, and that beaker is kept down so that whatever the as it is a freezing mixture, water will be, ice will be melting, so that melting water whatever is there will be collected in that beaker. Okay, so the ice plus water is my freezing mixture. Now two thermometers are going to be attached. One is at the bottom and another will be at the top, that is above and below, we can say. Now the below one is the thermometer which will be showing us the temperature T1. Above will be the thermometer showing us the temperature, that is T2. Okay, very simple construction. Okay, that 4 degrees Celsius and 0 degrees Celsius, what it is written, why it is written there, we will see it after our experiment is done. Okay, now again, this is only the construction what I have written in the next slide. Hope's apparatus, it has a flat bowl attached to a cylindrical container which consists of the freezing mixture, which is of ice and water. Water is filled in the cylindrical container and two thermometers are attached, that is thermometer T1 and T2. Okay, and yes, one more important thing, the temperature which is recorded, it is recorded every after 30 seconds. Okay, because we are going to plot a graph also, we are going to see a nature of the graph also. So after 30 seconds the temperature is recorded. Okay, now what are the observations in this experiment, we will be studying that. Now what is my first observation? Initially, as I told you, I have taken water at a normal temperature in the cylinder. So what happens, initially both the thermometers will be showing same temperatures, T1 will be and T2 will be showing the same temperature. Okay, but afterwards what will happen, as in between there is a freezing mixture, so the temperature in the between it will fall down. Okay, that means it will decrease, and hence the volume will also decrease, but the density will increase. Okay, now as the density is increasing, that dense water will go downwards. As it will move downwards, the lower thermometer, that is the T1, will be rapidly falling to 4 degrees Celsius. Okay, now when it is rapidly falling to 4 degrees Celsius, it will remain stable there, showing the temperature of 4 degrees Celsius. So I hope this first two observations are clear to you. Okay, now What will be my next observation for T2? We will see. Now T1 I have understood that the water has become dense, the volume has decreased, that dense water came downwards, and as it came downwards, my T1 temperature fall to 4 degrees Celsius. Okay. Now what happens to T2? Now as you know, the temperature which has start falling to 4 degrees Celsius, at the bottom, the volume is going to now increase and the density is going to decrease, hence it will move upwards. Okay. Now thus the temperature T2, it will come to 0 degrees Celsius. That means it will fall to 0 degrees Celsius. But before falling to 0 degrees Celsius, in between for some time it is going to remain at 4 degrees Celsius, and then it will come to 0 degree Celsius. I hope these three observations are clear to you. Okay. Now as you have seen about this temperatures T1 and T2, again I'll repeat. T1 first will show a rapid fall in the temperature to 4 degrees Celsius. Okay. And as it is showing a decrease to 4 degrees Celsius, water there which is present at the bottom, what will happen? Volume is going to increase and density will decrease, so it will move upwards. Water will move upwards. Now when it has moved upwards, what is going to happen there? T2 temperature will suddenly go on falling to 0 degrees Celsius, but suddenly it will not fall. Slowly fast it will come, but it is going to remain for some time at 4 degree Celsius. I hope this is clear to you till here. Okay. Now this was the construction and the observations for the experiment. Now as I said before, we are going to have a graph also. Okay. So the next slide, we will see the graph and the explanation for the graph. Come for the nature of the graph. Now what you will see, the temperature will be having on the y-axis, time will be taken on the x-axis. Now initially, as I told you, I have taken a water at a normal temperature. So both the thermometers T1 and T2 are identical. The temperatures T1 and T2 are going to be identical. Okay. As the time passes, the temperature of T1 of water at the lower part of the cylinder decreases fast, and the temperature T2 at the upper cylinder decreases comparatively slow. Yes, you have seen this. First, who is coming? The water, as the denser water came down, the temperature of T1, it started falling first, right? And then as the density there decreased and volume increased, it went upwards. So afterwards the change took place in the T2 thermometer. Okay. So T1 temperature will be changing fast as compared to the T2 temperature. I hope till here it is clear. Okay. Now, hence once the temperature at the lower part reaches 4 degrees Celsius, it remains stable. I told you T1 temperature 4 degrees Celsius, it will remain stable, and T2 will reach slowly to 4 degrees Celsius afterwards. Okay. Thereafter, reaching to 4 degrees Celsius, T2 temperature will change rapidly to 0 degrees Celsius first, and then the temperature of T1 will also become 0 degree Celsius. Okay. Again, if we go back to our diagram, whatever I said, why there 0 degree and 4 degree Celsius is written, this is the reason, because the temperature T1 has come to 4 degrees Celsius and temperature T2 is reaching to 0 degree Celsius. Okay. Again, coming back to our slide. So as the time passes, as I told you, temperature of T1 of the water at the lower part of the cylinder, it will decrease fast and T2 will be comparatively slow. Next, what we saw was, first the temperature T1 will come to 4 degrees Celsius and then T2 will come to 4 degrees Celsius. Okay. Now there will be a point of intersection. As I told you, both will be at 4 degrees Celsius, right? T2 will be also staying at 4 degrees Celsius for some time. So the point of intersection of these two curves show the temperature of the maximum density. As here everywhere we are saying 4 degrees Celsius, 4 degrees Celsius, both the temperatures are remaining stable for some time. So as I have stated in the last presentation, the maximum density of the water is at the temperature of 4 degree Celsius. I hope it is clear to you. Okay. We will see the curves. See, This is my graph. I'll explain you the graph. On the x-axis I have taken time in minutes. On the y-axis I have taken temperature in degrees Celsius. Okay, so 0, 4, 8, 12. For example, my water initially was at 12 degrees Celsius. Okay, and now what happened? See the temperature T1. As I told you, T1 temperature will rapidly fall to 4 degrees Celsius. Can you see a steep curve coming to 4 degrees Celsius? There it will remain stable for some time and then it will fall to 0 degrees Celsius. Okay, while T2, what it is happening? It will immediately come to 0 degrees Celsius, but only for a second or some time it is going to remain stable at 4 degrees Celsius. So both the thermometers T1 and T2 remain for the some time at 4 degrees Celsius. The temperature remains constant. Hence 4 degrees Celsius is our temperature of the maximum density of the water. I hope you understood both the curves. Okay, so this is the graph for the Hope's apparatus. Now I hope this Hope's apparatus experiment to study the animal's behavior of water is clear to you. Now, as you know, the temperature of T2 comes to 0 degrees Celsius. Okay, first. Hence, the upper part of the water, it gets converted into ice. Okay, as the temperature comes to 0 degrees Celsius first. Okay, so as the temperature is 0, the upper part of the water will get converted into ice, but the lower part will remain in the liquid state only. Okay, this phenomenon is also important because it is applicable in our nature. How it is applicable in our nature? In the areas where there is the snowfall. Okay, so there the fishes and all plants and all, they remain alive under the water because the ice cover is there. Up and below are all the fishes, animals are staying there. This is because this aquatic life can remain alive there because of this anomalous behavior of the water. Same concept is applicable there, because as the temperature falls below 0 degrees Celsius, you will see that the upper layer of the water in the ponds or lakes, whatever, in that regions, cold regions, they becomes ice, but the inside part remains the water itself. Okay, so I hope this concept is clear to you. Okay, now starting with the next concept, what we are going to study, that is the humidity. Now what is humidity? You all know that there is a continuous evaporation of water, yes, in the surrounding, and as there is continuous evaporation of water, there is the formation of the water vapors. Now as there is a amount of water vapor present in the air, then the air becomes that much moist. So the moisture which is present in the air, we called it as the humidity. So simple definition for the humidity, that the amount of water vapor or amount of moisture which is present in the air is called as the humidity. Okay, now we will be studying some terms related to this humidity. Okay, before that we will see this beautiful picture for the humidity. You can see here, we can see the forest humidity here, that it is a picture in a forest and it's a the picture showing us the humidity, you can see. Okay, that means the presence of the water vapor. Okay, now the next concept we are going to study, that is the saturation and unsaturated air. Okay, now for given volume of air at a specific temperature, there is always a limit on how much water vapor will be present in the air. Okay, now if this amount exceeds the limit which is there, then the excess vapor will be getting converted into the droplets, water droplets. Okay, now when the air contains maximum possible water vapor, we will call it as the air is, that is the air is saturated with the vapor. Okay, so if it whatever the maximum limit of water vapor will be present in the air, we will call that air as it is saturated air with the water vapor. Now this amount of water vapor which is present must be present in the air or needed to saturate this air depends upon the temperature of the air. So both the what you can say, the amount of water vapor and the temperature both are connected to each other. Okay, now how they are connected to each other we will see in the next slide. For example, if we see, if the temperature of the air is 40 degrees Celsius, then it can contain 49 grams of water vapor per kg of dry air without condensation. Without condensation means without formation of water droplets. Okay, now if the vapor contained in the air is less than this maximum limit, we call that the air is unsaturated. What we will call the air is unsaturated, because the water vapor is less than the limit. Okay, so I hope you understood the concept of saturated air and unsaturated air, okay, with the water vapor. Okay, now for example, suppose I am taking unsaturated air, okay, and now I want to convert it to saturation. Okay, so suppose unsaturated air is taken at certain temperature. I am decreasing that temperature, and that decrease in temperature, I am reaching a temperature where I can saturate the air with the vapor. This temperature I will call it as the dew point temperature. What I will call it as the dew point temperature. So as it is written here, suppose unsaturated air is taken at a certain temperature and its temperature is decreased. The temperature is reached where the air becomes saturated with the vapor. That temperature I will call it as the dew point temperature. Okay, so dew point temperature, all of you must be knowing the formation of the dew. If in morning, if you had a walk on the grass, you will feel that the grass is wet. Why? Because the dew point temperature is reached. Okay, here you can see the picture of the grass where the dew formation has taken place. Here also one bedbug you can see on the leaf, it is there, and nice dew drops you can observe. Okay, so I hope this dew point temperature is also clear to you. Okay, now so today we studied about the three topics. First one was the anomalous behavior of water using Hope's apparatus. So there important is the apparatus. Okay, construction of the apparatus, what were the observations, and the nature of the graph. Okay, that the two curves what we got for T1 and T2 temperature, it got intersected at one point, and it proved that the maximum density of the water is at 4 degrees Celsius. Next we saw about the humidity. What was humidity? Humidity is nothing but the presence of the water vapor in the atmosphere. We can say how much water vapor or how much moisture is present in the atmosphere, we will call it as the humidity. Then we saw the saturated and unsaturated air with vapor. Okay, saturated air was which is having the maximum limit of water vapor present in the air at a certain given temperature. We will call it as the saturated air with water vapor. And what was unsaturated air? If the air contains the vapors less than the given maximum limit at a certain temperature, I will call it as the unsaturated air. Okay, then was the dew point temperature. What was dew point temperature? For example, if I take unsaturated air at a certain temperature and now I am decreasing its temperature, I reached the temperature where the air became saturated with water vapor. So such temperature I will call it as the dew point temperature. Okay, so I hope all these three concepts are clear to you. As you had an assignment in the last presentation attached, I hope you have solved it. This presentation again you will be having an assignment. You are going to solve this also. Okay, and next presentation we will continue with the relative humidity, absolute humidity. We will see two more concepts. Okay, so for today that's all. All of you take care and thank you. Study all these topics. Okay, bye.